Close your eyes for a moment and imagine that everything you ever wanted was already around you, just on a different frequency. But the more you try to attract, the more it seems like something invisible is blocking the way. You visualize, affirm, desire, but deep down you feel exhausted, frustrated, and disconnected. And maybe silently you start to wonder, am I doing everything right but in the wrong way? Maybe no one has told you this, but most people fail at manifestation not for lack of faith, but for excessive effort without coherence. They imagine what they want, but vibrate the opposite. They say, I trust, but their nervous system is still stuck in fear. The truth is that quantum manifestation doesn't respond to your conscious will. It responds to your unconscious coherence, the one your body transmits even when your mouth claims otherwise. This video is not another shallow guide on positive thinking. It's a deep dive into the energetic and emotional architecture that truly underpins the creation of reality. Let's work together to dispel the myths, release the weight of spiritual self-deception, and realign your presence with what the universe truly understands, your embodied vibration. Now, take a deep breath, because we're about to reveal the hidden mechanisms that sabotage your greatest desires, even when you're doing everything right. Perhaps you've learned that visualizing what you want is the first step to manifesting it. And yes, visualization is powerful, but as long as it doesn't turn into a trap. Most people imagine the ideal scenario, love, money, freedom, and cling to it so tightly that they begin to vibrate with need. It's like craving air while sinking. The more you visualize, the more you realize you're far away. And that's where the quantum field starts to confuse the signals. From a neuro-emotional perspective, this has a name: Zeigarnik effect. The brain's tendency to keep open any goal that has not yet been completed. In other words, the more you focus on something you don't yet have, the more your system registers a field of lack. And this field becomes the predominant vibration. Now imagine this in quantum terms. You are trying to collapse the reality of abundance. But it is sending a continuous signal to the field of, it's not mine yet. And the field, which responds to what you are, not what you want, mirrors this vibrational delay. Joe Dispenza teaches that wave collapse only happens when the observer is in coherence. But how can you be a coherent observer if your body is in anxiety, your mind in expectation, and your heart in frustration? Here's the paradox. Visualizing without being vibrationally prepared is like wishing for a miracle with your soul trapped in fear. The first step to real manifestation is not seeing what you want. It's dissolving the emotional noise that's stopping you from being who would already have this naturally. You've heard that feeling gratitude as if you already received it is the key to manifestation. But what if I told you that for many people, this practice does not generate expansion? It generates confusion. There is a subtle yet profound paradox in using gratitude as a vibrational tool. If the body is vibrating scarcity and the mind tries to force gratitude, the field receives a divided signal. And in the quantum world, split frequency equals no collapse. Let's go back to the spiritual neuroscientific root of this dilemma. Joe Dispenza teaches that feeling gratitude in advance reorganizes the electromagnetic field of the heart and brain, creating a vibrational trail that attracts compatible realities. But what happens when gratitude is fake? When it is used as a tool to manipulate the universe and not as an authentic expression of inner abundance, the body perceives the farce, and the field too. Attempting to simulate gratitude before you are truly aligned with your desired experience creates a noise called vibrational dissonance. In emotional language, this looks something like this. I'm saying I'm grateful, but inside, I still feel afraid. I still feel needy. I'm still stuck waiting. Gratitude, when used as a strategy and not as a consequence, becomes an anesthetic. It begins to numb your real perception, suppress unresolved emotions, and hide the emptiness that needs to be heard, not silenced. That's what I call defensive gratitude, the one you use to try to convince yourself that everything is okay, when in fact, there is an internal cry asking to be heard. This kind of gratitude is not manifested. He represses. In the quantum field, coherence is everything, and coherence is not positivity. It is congruence between what you feel, think, and vibrate. If the body is saying, I can't believe it, the heart is saying, it still hurts, and the mind is trying to say, I'm grateful, the field receives contradiction. Greg Braden talks about this when he teaches that the field reads the felt prayer, not the words. And Bruce Lipton adds, emotional epigenetics shows that the internal environment shapes external reality, and this includes the unspoken truth, the one your nervous system registers long before you put it into words. Attempting to feel gratitude too soon can paradoxically reinforce the feeling of distance, like someone pretending to be okay in a dark room, hoping the light will turn on. The good news? You don't have to pretend to create. In the quantum universe, the most magnetic emotion is not forced gratitude. It is vibrational honesty. It is to recognize, I still don't feel gratitude, I'm still afraid, but I'm present with it, and it's in this space that my frequency begins to reorganize. It is this raw, vulnerable acceptance that dissolves the layers of resistance and makes way for a naturally born gratitude, not as a strategy, but as a state. So instead of forcing gratitude, ask yourself, what in me still feels unworthy of receiving? What part of me needs to be heard before I feel safe to say thank you? Quantum manifestation is not an internal theater. It's a process of alignment where every part of you is included, integrated, loved, and only then elevated. Remember, the field responds to your consistency, not your effort. It's not about feeling gratitude to get what you want. It's about what prevents you from realizing that you are already worthy. Gratitude should not be a feigned starting point. It is the natural arrival point of a vibrational system that already feels whole. And maybe, just maybe, you don't need to thank me now. You just need to listen to yourself. Not all light illuminates. Some brilliant beliefs, which seem spiritually uplifting, are secretly chaining you down. You may have heard phrases like, everything has a reason, everything is always right, only vibrate positively. They seem harmless, even poetic. But when repeated without presence and without discernment, they become a type of gaslighting spiritual. A subtle way of silencing legitimate pain, repressing human emotions, and blocking internal movements that require courage, not passive acceptance. This is the prison of quantum positivity, a dangerous terrain where the search for high frequencies turns into disguised rejection, where we try to keep the vibration clean by avoiding conflicts, cutting out uncomfortable conversations, ignoring the body and the shadows. But the quantum field, as Jung and neuroscientists have been pointing out, does not respond to the image you want to maintain. It responds to the truth you carry. Jung called this shadow. Everything you have been conditioned to reject in yourself, anger, fear, discomfort, sadness, but which continues to operate in the unconscious, sabotages your vibration, shapes decisions, and attracts experiences you say you don't want. You can say, I trust, with your mouth, but if your shadow is stuck in the fear of being abandoned, that is the frequency the universe mirrors. You can repeat, I am light. But if you deny your legitimate anger, this stagnant energy blocks the action and discernment needed to change course. Toxic positivity in the spiritual field creates a vibrational fog field. You stop knowing what is real because you try to hold on to what is high. But the universe is not interested in spiritual purity. He wants vibrational wholeness, and that includes your shadows. Think about it with an example. Imagine someone who deeply believes that good vibes attract good people. This person avoids confrontation, swallows their grudges, and keeps a soft voice even when being invaded. She repeats that everything is fine, but inside she feels violated. And then 1, 2, 10 situations repeat themselves. It is ignored, outdated, undervalued. Why? Because the field is not listening to your soft words. He is responding to your lack of presence with one's own truth. Quantum positivity without integration turns energetic into self-abandonment. And that's the danger of nice beliefs, the ones that shine but keep you stuck. They impede firm decisions. They block clear boundaries. They cut off the transformative power of healthy anger, of what's left unsaid, of the scream that needs to be heard. Quantum coherence is not about being light all the time. It's about being whole, even if it means going through dense layers. That's why Jung said, you do not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making darkness conscious. If you really want to manifest a new reality, stop just looking for good vibes. and start making peace with the parts you hide to appear spiritual. This is presence. This is a real frequency. This is power. So today, ask yourself a simple, brutal question. What nice spiritual belief have I adopted to avoid feeling what I really feel? This is the key that begins to free your field, because the universe doesn't respond to what you show it. He responds to what you are in its entirety. You can repeat 1,000 times that you trust. You can affirm every day, I am abundant. You can do perfect visualizations, beautiful rituals, guided meditations with heavenly soundtracks. But if your body doesn't believe it, none of this translates into reality. Because the body, more than the mind, is the field where manifestation takes place. Most people live disconnected from their own emotional biology. They try to change their lives with their minds, while their bodies are still stuck in survival modes, anxiety, tension, hypervigilance. And it is in this abyss between thought and sensation that incoherence is born. Joe Dispenza teaches that the state of cardiac coherence is the point of greatest quantum magnetism. This is when the heart, brain, and nervous system come into sync, creating an electromagnetic field that literally rearranges external reality. But how do you get there if your body is still stuck in trauma? Here comes a crucial point: somatic memory. Your body remembers, even if you don't consciously remember. He remembers the rejection, of abandonment, of fear, of humiliation, of the threat, of loss. And every time you try to create a new reality without releasing those memories, you activate the defense system, the invisible vibrational brake. It's like trying to manifest the new with a body stuck in the old. Your emotional biology is like an antenna. It captures what is happening inside you and transmits it to the field. Even if your mind says, I'm fine, if your nervous system is alert, the vibration that reaches the field is a threat. Quantum manifestation only happens when the internal system signals safety. When the body says, now it is safe to thrive, now it is safe to love, it is now safe to receive. Without this, everything becomes resistance disguised as effort. And this brings us to a brutal yet liberating question. Does your body feel safe to receive what you ask for? If not, the field response will be wait, not for punishment, but for consistency. Bruce Lipton showed in his studies on epigenetics that the cell shuts down when it feels threatened, and this applies to the entire organism. You don't manifest in a state of fight or flight. You manifest in a state of regulation. Biology is the stage where vibration is embodied. That is why your spiritual practice cannot ignore the body. Manifestation is not a mental process. It is an embodied experience. If you're trying to visualize a new life while breathing fast, shoulders tense, jaw clenched, gut inflamed, your body is sending out a "I'm in danger" signal, and the field mirrors that back. Now understand, it's not about healing everything before creating, but of bringing the body into the process. Honor what he feels, release what's stuck. Teach with presence and practice that it's now safe to experience something different. Start simple. Observe your body when you talk about your dreams. Does it relax or contract? Does your breath expand or hold? Does your heart race with fear or excitement? The manifestation begins in the body. When he says yes, the field responds now. So today, perhaps for the first time, you can ask your body, what do you still carry that prevents me from receiving? And listen, without haste, without correction, without spiritualizing. Coherence begins with this gesture. Honor what your body still feels so that it can trust in a new destiny. In front of the mirror, eyes steady, trying to look confident, and then he says, I am prosperous, I am loved, I am enough. But inside, a more subtle, almost imperceptible voice whispers, lie. This is where the error that almost no one sees lies, confusing repetition with vibration. To believe that loose phrases repeated mechanically can rewrite an emotional system that has been shaped by years or even generations of pain, belief, and conditioning. The conscious mind loves affirmations. She feels in control. But the subconscious cannot be reprogrammed with words. Elle is being reprogrammed to feel emotional experience. Neuroscience confirms this. The reticular activating system, the network of neurons responsible for filtering and prioritizing stimuli, simply ignores what has no emotional charge. If your statement is not accompanied by sensation, internal image, positive memory, or physiological response, she just turns mental noise. Think of the quantum field as vibrational radar. It doesn't pick up what you say. It captures what you and at the moment he says. A sentence can be beautiful, powerful, even magical. But if your body is tense, your voice is uncertain, your eyes are sad, the field does not hear the sentence. It mirrors the vibrational state behind it. Repeating, "I am worthy of love" with a closed heart is like trying to make a phone call without a signal. You talk, but it doesn't connect. And that's not your fault. It's biological. Your brain learns by repetition with emotion. This is how traumas form. A single intense experience scars the body and nervous system. The good news is that the opposite is also true. Affirmations can reprogram, but only when they are anchored in coherent emotion. How to do this? Here's a simple, yet powerful practical exercise. Choose a short but true statement about where you want to go. Example, "I am a magnet for aligned opportunities." Close your eyes and bring up a memory, any memory, where you felt expansion, connection, worthiness. It can be small, a sincere compliment, a safe hug, a moment of peaceful silence. Feel in your body where this memory vibrates. It can be on the chest, stomach, arms. Breathe deeply into this area. Now repeat the affirmation, not with your mind, but with your whole body, as if it were dripping from the skin, not the mouth. Observe, does the vibration change? Does the body accept or resist? If you resist, don't force it. Just breathe. Start again tomorrow. This practice is slower, quieter, more subtle, but it's the only one the field understands, because the universe doesn't respond to what you pretend. It responds to what you embody. Joe Dispenza says, "You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are." And what do and is the result of the fusion between thoughts, emotions, and physiology. Therefore, it is not enough to repeat. It is necessary to feel, anchor, and incorporate. It is necessary to teach the body to believe in the new story, even if little by little, even if through tears, even if with tremors. Because this body, which once learned to vibrate fear, can also learn to vibrate trust. But he doesn't learn in a hurry. He learns with presence. So today, maybe it's the day to stop repeating and start to feel. It's not always the great trauma that blocks us. It's not always blatant fear, explicit pain, or emotional breakdown. Often what distorts your frequency and delays your manifestation are the little thoughts, as micro-sabotages, those silent ideas that you don't even realize you're repeating, but that, day after day, recalibrate your vibrational field to the opposite side of what you want. It's an automatic comparison. The unconscious judgment, the subtle criticism of oneself, "This is too good for me." The "must be her luck." The "I don't know if I'm ready." The "who am I to do this?" These sentences don't shout, they whisper. But on the quantum plane, the field does not measure volume, it measures coherence. And every little thought of self-denial or self-deprecation is a vibrational vote contrary to your own desire. Daniel Kahneman, Nobel Prize winner in economics, explained this through the concept of two systems of thought. System 1, fast, automatic, instinctive. System 2, slow, rational, thoughtful. Most of the thoughts we have throughout the day, about 90,000 per day, are processed by System 1, i.e., impulsive, conditioned, repetitive. And that's where micro-sabotages live. You can spend 10 minutes meditating on prosperity in the morning and spend the rest of the day repeating without realizing it. "This is too difficult. I think I missed my chance. It's not for me. I'm slow. I'm anxious. I'm too messy." And at the end of the day, your field has been trained to manifest doubt, scarcity, and effort. These little thoughts are like vibrational viruses. They weaken your energy system from within, like an invisible leak. And the cruelest, you don't even realize you're doing it. Therefore, the path of quantum manifestation is not just about creating new ideas. It's about observing the automatic ideas that already exist. It's like cleaning a magnetic field. You don't just need to put in a new magnet. You need to remove the iron fragments that were throwing the whole thing out of alignment. Want a practical example? Imagine that you decide to manifest a new love. You do visualizations, affirmations, write letters to the universe. But during the day, your automatic thoughts are, "I can't give myself up again." Men like that don't exist anymore. Every time I open up, I get hurt. Will they really like me? These thoughts may seem harmless, but they are like microneedles in their frequency. They undermine the vibration of openness, trust, and surrender. And the field, obedient as always, reflects exactly this field of hesitation. The same goes for money, purpose, health, freedom. Every misaligned micro-thought is a small interference in the collapse of reality. But here's the key. You don't have to control every thought. That would be impossible. You need to observe the patterns, create presence, and regulate yourself at the moment the sabotage takes place. And the most effective tool for this is the body. Every micro-sabotage generates a microsomatic signal, a contraction in the stomach, a tightness in the chest, a subtle quickening of the pulse. The body feels the thought before you consciously realize it. So the secret is to train yourself to feel when you are betraying your own frequency. When you realize it, don't fight it. Don't criticize yourself for thinking the wrong thing. Just stop, breathe, recalibrate, and say sincerely, I choose to align myself with something new. This pause is a rescheduling. It is a vibrational message to the field saying, I'm ready to treat myself differently. And the universe? Always respond. The universe has no ears. He doesn't listen to your words. He doesn't read your stated intentions. He does not judge your mistakes, nor reward your virtues. But he interprets your vibration. Everything you feel, think, deny, avoid, or pretend not to feel, all of this forms an electromagnetic field around you. And this field is like a silent signal being emitted in all directions, all the time. This is the language the universe understands. It doesn't matter how much you say, I trust, if your energy says, I am on alert. It doesn't matter how many times you repeat, I am worthy, if your body posture reveals shame, withdrawal, avoidance. No matter how much you say, I love myself, you avoid looking yourself in the eyes in the mirror. In the quantum field, vibration always wins over narrative. Greg Braden calls this field intelligence. According to him, the universe works like an emotional radar. It doesn't respond to what you want. He answers to which you vibrate most consistently. And this brings us to a profound and uncomfortable point. If you avoid feeling certain emotions, the field interprets this as rejection of parts of you. And this internal rejection translates into messages of scarcity, abandonment, and fragmentation. For example, if you avoid feeling lonely by always seeking distraction, quick connections, or external validation, the field understands. This person is not at home with themselves, and it sends more experiences that reinforce the feeling of emptiness. If you avoid legitimate anger, smiling when frustrated, maintaining superficial peace to please, the field understands. This person is not authorized to protect their boundaries. And then more people and situations arise that cross those boundaries. You do not manifest what you deny. You manifest what you vibrate, and what vibrates is what you feel most truly, even if unconsciously. Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. In the quantum field, this translates as, what you avoid feeling becomes a vibrational command, because the field does not distinguish between positive and negative. He neither rewards smiles nor punishes tears. It simply interprets, with mathematical precision, the energy you hold as your predominant state. And here's the most delicate detail. Your emotional avoidance is read as intention. When you run away from discomfort, the universe understands that you want to maintain a state of survival, not out of malice. But because your avoidance communicates that it is more familiar to your system. And the field, like the brain, repeats the familiar, not the desired. You can say, I want peace. But if you vibrate with hypervigilance, the field gives you more reasons to be on alert. You can say, I want love. But if you avoid vulnerability, the field sends you relationships where you need to protect yourself. And so, without realizing it, we create realities we don't want, but that resonate with what we're avoiding feeling. Does this mean you should wallow in pain? No. But it does mean you should stop pretending it doesn't exist, and start becoming a safe space where all your emotions can be seen, felt, integrated. Because only when your vibration becomes consistent, the field receives a clear signal. Greg Braden teaches that the field does not move by will, but by resonance. And the only way to achieve this resonance is when every part of you, conscious and unconscious, aligns in the same tone. Is this possible? Yes, but not through effort, and yes, through the deep presence and real listening. So here's a quiet but powerful practice. Close your eyes, ask your body, what part of me am I avoiding? And listen. No rush, no correction, no trying to change anything. Just acknowledge it, name it, give it space, give it acceptance. Because the moment you accept feeling what he avoided, the field begins to rearrange everything around it. And then, for the first time, maybe the universe won't need to test you anymore. He just responds. Have you ever wondered why certain patterns repeat themselves, even when you do everything right? You study spirituality, practice visualizations, affirmations, meditation, but somehow it always comes back to the same place. Relationships that don't last, lack of money, let's sabotage the car, feeling of stagnation. Perhaps what is operating is not just your current desire, but something oldest, deepest, quietest. Maybe the energy that shapes your reality didn't start with you. Bruce Lipton, cell biologist and author of The Biology of Belief, revealed an uncomfortable truth. Your cells listen not only to the external environment, but to the inherited emotional environment. It is the field of emotional epigenetics. This means that traumas, beliefs, and emotional patterns from your parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents do not disappear over time. They turn into vibrational predispositions. Silent maps that your energetic system tries to follow to belong to the lineage. And without realizing it, you start repeating what you swore you would never experience. You want abundance, but feel guilty about earning money. You want freedom, but you sabotage yourself when you're about to leave. You want love, but you close yourself off the moment someone approaches. Why? Because on some deep level, receiving more than your ancestors had seems like a betrayal. In vibrational language, if they couldn't, who am I to be able to? This inherited field creates what we call an invisible loyalty. You unconsciously align yourself with past suffering so as not to feel outside the clan. And the result is the collapse of your desires in the face of blockages that do not originate with you. It's as if your field says, it is dangerous to shine, it is wrong to prosper, it is selfish to be happy when others are not. And the universe, always faithful to its vibration, mirrors this in experiences that reinforce exactly this plot. The good news? You can honor your ancestry without repeating your pain. You can recognize where you came from and still choose where you're going. Healing happens when you become aware. When you understand that voice saying, I can't, it's not yours. It's from a grandmother who lived in scarcity, of a father who was betrayed, from a lineage marked by loss, by struggle, by pain. But now, you are here, with conscience, with choice, with vibrational freedom to reorganize the field. Bruce Lipton explains that by changing your internal environment, your thoughts, emotions, and perception, you literally change the expression of your genes. You rewrite biology with energy, and the field responds not to your blood, but to your coherence. Here is a practice to begin this realignment. Close your eyes. Imagine the lineage behind you, your parents, grandparents, great-grandparents. Visualize each one with the pain they carried. Say silently, I see the pain you've lived. I honor the path you've walked. But now, I choose something new. This simple gesture has quantum power because it releases invisible emotional loyalty, and it allows you to manifest no longer out of unconscious obligation, but out of conscious choice. You're not here to continue the scarcity story. You are here to transmute it. And true gratitude for your lineage is not repeating the pain. It is the freedom they didn't have. To manifest is not to desire. It's not positive thinking. It's not about visualizing a goal and waiting for it to fall from the sky. Manifesting on the quantum plane is an energy cycle, a living, dynamic and integrated movement between mind, body, emotion, and field. Through years of observation between applied spirituality, neuroscience, and quantum physics, a simple but profoundly transformative model emerges. Desire, internal coherence, symbolic action, vibrational collapse. Let's explore each step with care, sensitivity, and truth. 1. Desire, the creative impulse. It all starts with an impulse, an inner calling. Something in you whispers, there is a version of my life more aligned than this. This desire is not born in the ego, it is born from the soul. It's not neediness, it's recognition. It's not escape, it's return. Desiring at this level is not seeking something external. It is to feel that what you want already exists in potential and wants to find you. But the error starts here. Many people confuse desire with need, and need creates tension, urgency, a vibration of lack. True desire is different. It is silent, deep, and light. He doesn't scream, "I need this now." He whispers, "I'm ready to become that." 2. Internal coherence, the vibrational state of attunement. This is where most people get stuck. Wishing is easy, but vibrating in coherence with what you desire, that's where the real work begins. Joe Dispenza teaches that without coherence between brain and heart, there is no stable signal. And the quantum field, like a faithful mirror, only responds to stable signals. Consistency does not mean perfection, it means alignment. Think one thing, feel the same thing, and act accordingly. If you desire love but fear rejection, your field is divided. If you desire prosperity but vibrate scarcity, your field is conflicted. Coherence is built with presence and honesty, and with practices that regulate the system: breathing, body, sound, movement, felt meditation. This is where you start to become what you want to receive. 3. Symbolic action, the vibrational bridge. Many people believe that all they have to do is feel and wait. But in the quantum world, symbolic action is a confirmation code. It is not blind effort, it is a sign of faith. It's when you act as if it were already real, as if the desired reality were already being lived, even if in a seed version. Want abundance? Give generously. Want love? Take care of yourself with presence. Want freedom? Make a small gesture today that represents expansion. The symbolic action says to the field, "I'm ready. I believe. I'm not waiting. I'm walking." And at that point, the universe begins to move in synchronicities. 4. Vibrational collapse, the birth of the new reality. In quantum physics, everything exists as a probability wave until an observer collapses the wave into a particle, into fact, into matter. Vibrational collapse happens when your internal state becomes so stable, so coherent, so vibrationally compatible with your desired reality that the field no longer has a choice. He collapses, the opportunity appears, the meeting takes place. Take care if it manifests, the news becomes visible. But here's the final secret. You have no control over the how or the when. You only have control over the internal state that emits the signal. Matter responds to vibration, not expectation. Therefore, the cycle ends not when the result arrives, but when you become the vibration that attracts this result naturally. Now breathe. Feel this model not just as theory, but as an invitation. Today, which of these 4 stages are you in? Where do you feel blocked? Where is there already fluidity? This cycle does not require haste. He demands presence. And when you walk with inner fidelity through this flow, the universe recognizes. Because you're not trying to manifest anymore. You are living in coherence with the manifestation. There is a lot of talk about desires, goals, affirmations, dreams, but the quantum field, this living organism that mirrors our essence, does not respond to fragile desires. He responds with something infinitely stronger, an authentic emotional decision. The kind of decision that is not born of logic. It doesn't come from fear. It is not made to please anyone. It appears as silent and incontestable, coming from within. A true decision is a vibrational milestone. It changes its frequency the very instant it is taken, even though the world around us hasn't changed yet. She doesn't need proof. Why, the certainty has already been felt. And here is the most forgotten key to manifestation. You don't create your reality with words. You collapse the new reality the very moment you decide, emotionally, that it's already true for you. This decision is not a cry, it is a state. She expresses herself in silence, in the way you breathe, on the way you walk down the street, in the calmest, most confident look, in the absence of haste. Because who really decides? Stop begging, stop doubting, stop chasing, and it starts to embody. Joe Dispenza asserts that all true change occurs when a new state of being takes hold, and with it, a new vibrational identity. You stop being someone you want, and you become someone who already lives in accordance with what you want, even if externally nothing has changed. This is the most magnetic signal the field can receive. It's not a passing enthusiasm. It is coherence incarnate, and you've seen it happen, even if you haven't named it. Think of someone who made a real internal turn, who decided to leave a toxic relationship, change countries, change professions, change lives. At the moment of decision, the universe seems to conspire. Doors open, people appear, synchronicities appear, not because it was luck, but why the vibration of doubt was replaced by a quiet certainty. The field has no choice in the face of a soul that has decided. He answers, with precision, with speed, with fluidity. But be careful, don't confuse decisions with rigidity. True decision is not control, it is delivered clearly. It is to say, I don't know how, I don't know when, but I already know it is. And live from that state. This decision does not require haste. She demands the truth. So here's the final invitation. Close your eyes, breathe, and ask yourself, without filters, what reality am I determined to collapse? Not with words, but with the way I live from this day forward. Maybe you don't know all the details yet, but if you can feel that silent yes, so the process has already begun. Because in the quantum universe, you don't manifest what you dream. You manifest what you decide to embody, with your heart, with your body, with your entire being. And the most transformative decision doesn't scream. She vibrates. And when you vibrate the truth of what you chose, nothing, absolutely nothing remains the same. And now, take a deep breath. Let every word of this video find a silent space within you, not to be memorized, but to be felt, absorbed, and maybe, in time, lived. You don't need to understand everything at once, nor change everything tomorrow. The field does not require haste. He responds to what is real. And the most real thing you can offer the universe is your determined presence, your body at peace, your silent yes, your choice to be whole, even without guarantees. Remember, you don't manifest with effort, you manifest with coherence. You don't attract with words, you attract the state. And you don't create because you really want to. You create when you become the vibrational reflection of what is already yours in another dimension. So before you leave this video, close your eyes for a moment and ask yourself, honestly, not hastily, if I were already who I want to be, how would I breathe now? That breath, this small change in posture, this new place where you start to live, this is how quantum manifestation begins. Not in desire, but not to be.